Hello and welcome to TSL Covers the 2023 US Gymnastics Championships. I'm Dave Leese and I'm thrilled to welcome 1999 World Team member, 2000 Olympic alternate, Alyssa Beckerman.
Hi. Hi, my name is Alyssa Beckerman. I'm from Middletown, New Jersey, and currently living in Cincinnati, Ohio. Sometimes I miss my home in New Jersey, my dog Clancy, my dad, and my friends. My goal is to help my team win the gold.
You would be an excellent person. We know that you love to give an opinion, you love to write a Google Doc, and that you've been very supportive of the athletes over the last, how long is this, 7-8 years it's been going on. I think that this movement in general. So, talk a little bit about some of the things that you've been involved in. You're in all of the groups, all of the, supporting situations.
I'm sure I'm not in all the groups. I'm just in the older groups, or some of the older groups, I should say. I mean, I don't know. It's it's a lot longer than 7-8 years, really, for us. Because once you're a gymnast, you're always going to be a like a fan, and you're always going to be for the sport and not for crazy people in the sport. So there's a very dividing line, between.
Well, I would say that you have been a enlightened advocate for many years, and one of the more
outspoken,
yes. So this is what we want to ask you, and I think this is so interesting because some of the key players are still involved, and
yeah,
the Gymnastics Championships opened with a press conference with USA Gymnastics CEO Li Leung, and she was promoting their new sponsorship with Nike.
All this really hinges on this cultural transformation that I've talked about since I took this role 4.5 years ago. And so almost every bit of good news that has come out of the sport, from legend athletes returning to new partnerships to this new feeling of fun and celebration, is in some way a reflection of all the work that our organization and frankly the entire gymnastics community has done to define and cultivate this new culture that really prioritizes the athletes and their safety, health, and wellness.
And then news broke that OC Register reporter Scott Reid, who I believe you were in a Scott Reid article way back when about injuries.
Okay.
It's one of the first major gymnastics expose articles that really had some qualitative and quantitative research attached to it, because he really tracked injuries, and you were part of that. But he was denied a credential to the championships, and there were other people involved, like Doc Alley. So can you explain this situation?
Yeah, so Scott Reid has been chronicling gymnastics for years, decades. I mean, I was just doing the math on this. It's been 2 decades since that article I did with him. So I don't talk to him on a regular basis or anything. I knew him back then, and he was a good journalist, and he cared. And that was a big deal, especially back then when they were trying to bury you and make sure you never saw the light of day. He is a voice for the silencing, big time. So it's huge that he's earned his stripes. He's earned his stripes over the years. He's been in the trenches, I feel. So for him to be denied credentials is very telling, and it's a sad happening. Like it's really a bad omen. It's a bad decision on USA Gymnastics' part, really bad decision. It means they're not confident. They're not confident in their own ability to present the facts and to answer questions and to answer for things that they need to answer. And the accountability is part of what change is. So
I've experienced other sports organizations doing similar things. And you
Yeah.
report on things that they don't like.
You know, it's very, I hate to put it this way because of the world today, but it's very Putin-esque.
Okay. It's interesting to me because obviously USAG has this moment with Nike. They have this moment to say that we've changed. And frankly, they're in a good spot right now, not really because of their own doing, but they're very lucky that Simone Biles, Suni Lee, Jordan Chiles, Jade Carey, Leanne Wong, Kayla DiCello have all decided to continue their careers. This is a good fortune that has very little to do with the strength of the program and development or any of the infrastructure in place.
Yeah.
Do look great and are benefiting monetarily from this. And they really have the opportunity to grow this over the next year going into the Olympics. And they start with denying him a credential, which to me signals maybe not much has changed.
No, absolutely not. You start doing that, you're sliding back. And it's not too far to the bottom because they didn't have that, they didn't move that far. They didn't move the needle forward that much. Okay. You know, they came up with this athlete bill of rights, which was very, I don't know. I'm trying to be as nice as I can about this. It was, you know, I don't know. It was just, it put a Band-Aid on things, you know, it put a pretty Band-Aid on things. It covered up. It was like, let's all be nice to each other. Let's all care. Let's all, and it's like, that's not what these girls need. Okay. They need accountability. They need to know that they're being protected. They need to know that they have somewhere to go. They need to know that they have someone to talk to, that they're safe talking to. Which brings me to Doc Alley. So in that regard, I think she was a speaker at Congress this year. Okay, so, you know,
What's your history with Doc Alley? Did you meet her?
My personal history with her, I mean, I got along with her great, you know, we got along with her very well. There were a few instances, you know, at Cincinnati Gymnastics Academy where, you know, she came in and she, more than a few, where she visited us quite often because we had a lot of national team members there. And she did a lot of sessions with us. And, you know, things get murky. The message as far as what her role is got murky. It wasn't known to us that she wasn't an actual practicing psychologist, which means she is not beholden to privacy. She can betray your trust and go tell the coach what you just said and tell USA Gymnastics what you just said. You know, she has no actual legal bounds to maintain confidentiality between a patient. So if you tell her something, and she's a doctor, she's a doctorate, you know, there's a
thing. Okay.
It's different. So, you know, that was misleading. And so things were said and things were revealed to our coach and got us in trouble back then, which we weren't too pleased with her. And we stopped trusting. And it added to the culture of silence. It added big time. When you have somebody like that who is in a psychology position come in and she builds a rapport with you, and then your coach says something that was repeated only in confidence that you said to her, you know, like the things that happen that shouldn't have. And then you're like, oh my God, there is no safe place. Mm-hmm. So it perpetuated the culture, you know, and it's all part of it. It's all part of the same system, you know, and I don't think that she meant ill. Mm-hmm. You know, and I can't speak to her feelings. I really can't. But I don't think any one person was like, I'm going to be the evil doer of all these horrible things. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to make everybody feel this way. I think that there was just, the system was inept, and it was just failure after failure after failure to protect.
Well, I want to ask you a little bit else about, this is Alison Arnold we're talking about, because I do remember that at the beginning of the Larry Nassar situation, I don't know if this has been published or this is just something that you have said in interviews, but was she someone that was Facebook messaging on behalf of Larry Nassar at the beginning of this situation? Because that's another situation that I think would have concerns.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, actually, when Larry Nassar was first being accused, and they still had the athlete's anonymity, it was like athlete A, athlete B, accusing. One of the gymnasts, some former national team member, I forget from what year, was convinced by Doc Alley to start a massive private Facebook Messenger feed between a lot of former national teammates, myself included. A lot of other girls were on there. It was dozens, maybe hundreds. I can't remember exactly, but and she told her story about her time with Larry and what had happened to her and how it was a mistake and how Larry was so embarrassed and it was very, and how he's innocent and how it was, it was infuriating to me because quite frankly, it's so inappropriate to put that kind of message out there. And I messaged the group and I said, I had good rapport with Larry, but my good experience does not negate somebody's bad experience. So this is inappropriate, and we need to not be peer pressuring to think one way or another about this. And I had backlash for it. You got to remember, Larry didn't just groom his victims; he groomed people that would be in his corner. And I knew that. So these girls that were like, no, you're just being immature. They were telling me I was immature. I was this. They were calling me all sorts of, I was like, no, this is unprofessional. And I called Doc Alley out about it because and she immediately kind of backpedaled. And, but I was very upset by the message that was putting out to the whole group. Especially, God forbid, and I'm sure some of those athletes, now I know actually a lot of athletes that had been abused by Larry were in that feed.
Which is traumatizing for them.
Absolutely. Here, your peers are going to sit there and tell you you're wrong and he's a wonderful man and how dare you, talk about a dangerous.
Yeah, so this relates to Anna Lee, who this situation with Scott Reid, and Scott Reid has been reporting on situations at Legacy Elite, the gym owned by Anna Lee's parents, and I guess Doc Alley had received information about this. Is what Scott Reid's tweet was about, and then she's.
Oh, I didn't read that. I didn't know about this one.
So this is how the I think it was in the tweet that you sent me.
No, I sent you one.
Yeah, it has to do with the information, and it was with the medal count actually. Did, and they do a great job. So in 2016, Allie Arnold, aka Doc Alley, received an email describing abusive training conditions regarding Anna Lee. These details were reported to Scott M. Reid. At 2023 U.S. Nationals, Anna Lee is a judge, Doc Alley is a featured speaker, and Scott M. Reid was denied media credentials. To me, that just sums up the state of gymnastics right now. We also know that was under investigation, but he was still out there. He had many athletes who were training, and that is interesting because did you read Little Girls in Pretty Boxes when you were a gymnast coming up? Because that would have come up when you were probably in middle school.
Because all the coaches were so upset when that book came out. They were like, don't read it. And of course, you're gonna read it if you're, if they say not to. I mean, you're gonna
the floor of Barnes and Noble being like,
right. That'll make it most popular, But yeah, of course I read that. And yeah, he's in there
prominently. Yes, I always wonder that too. Like if parents read this and he has many elites now, still, and it's just an interesting thing, because if you Google, there are so many different tales over time, videos about this situation, and it continues to go. And it's just kind of an interesting state of the sport. It was surprising to me to see this and yet not at the same time. So it's that kind of distance.
Ugh. I mean, Al Fung specifically, he wasn't as prominent a coach during my quad. You know, I knew he was there because to me, he was the guy with the odd gloves on bars, because he would wear these strange oven mitt looking gloves. They looked like cartoonish Mickey Mouse gloves, and he would like catch or spot bars, his gymnast on bars with that. And it was like a very odd, he'd like clap with them, and it was a weird thing. But I don't remember, you know, actually seeing anything, you know, I can't speak to Al Fong's behavior as far as how he treated his athletes, because I just don't know, because he just didn't have that kind of prominence when I was during my quad. He just didn't. He had like one.
How many coaches have you had who've been banned by Safe Sport subsequently to you being?
Have I had? Well, 2.
That's a decent number, right? That's.
I mean, one's in jail, right? And the other is currently like serving a 2-year slap on the wrist thing, I think. Yeah, something like that.
You think about it, you going back in time, these are things that maybe you would have told a Doc Allie or someone. And of course, this is.
I wouldn't have. That's the thing. You know, they show you what happens when you do, you know, and then you stop. It only takes one, you know, I mean, one instance, and that's it. And that's why it's such a delicate thing. And these are young, impressionable kids, children, you know, learning from the adults, and the adults are all insane. Like,
what? You once told me a story that national team members came to your gym because there were reports of eating disorders.
Yeah.
Was she one of the adults there for that as well?
Doc Allie?
Yeah.
No, she did not come that time. It was Kathy Kelly who came. Kathy Kelly was the women's program director back then. And yeah, she drove in from Indianapolis because an anonymous letter was written from my gym after a session. I believe with Doc Allie actually was like after that session, someone had decided to write a letter to USA Gymnastics about the eating disorder problem at CGA. And so I believe that this letter was written to frame somebody else. Like, I think that I'm not going to get into the details of it, but basically it was a sabotage thing. That kind of behavior was promoted at CGA, like backstabby parents and let's tell on this girl because I saw her eat this at TCBY. Better go tell Mary Lee. And Mary Lee would condone that behavior. She would be like all for it. And that's what you're going to breed, you know, is bad behavior from adults, you know, if you're behaving that way and you promote it. But anyway,
were parents present for that? I mean, that's a pretty big deal. If someone from USA Gymnastics, and it's interesting that Kathy Kelly because Kathy Kelly hasn't been mentioned prominently in many of the cases about NASA culture, but she was the women's vice president for a very long time at USA.
I don't know why. I have no idea why she has skated away from all of this. I really don't. She was absolutely at the center of so much. So it's very odd to me that she wouldn't know anything. Really, it's very suspicious to me. You know, she orchestrated a lot. But she came to our gym, and her idea of getting to at the bottom of, you know, whether our gym had an eating disorder problem or not was to round us all up in a room, in a conference room with Mary Lee, and ask us with our parents and say, hey, is there an eating disorder problem? Speak up. That was her idea of getting to the bottom of it. Now, do you think that, I mean, that's a way for like to get any teenager or young kid to talk about an eating disorder in front of all the parents and your coaches, like, and it, I mean, honestly, like, no, you're not interested in that. They switched to who done it. That was their big thing. Who wrote this letter? Well, we've had it traced, we've had it tracked, and we're going to have a handwriting analysis. They were like going on and on about this. Like, this was the crime. It was really just who wrote it. They were more interested in who wrote it than than an actual problem with our gym, you know, which was a shame because we all really had, it was a problem. So,
but I know that Vanessa Atler has told a very similar story regarding telling people at USAG at Olympic trials in 2000 about her eating issues and had.
Oh, they don't care. They do not care. USAG is, I'm sorry.
Didn't care at the time. We don't know if they care or not now.
I don't know if they care or not now.
This is why you were kicked out of Bible study probably many times with Mary Lee.
I never kicked out of Bible study. What are you talking about? I loved the Bible study. I liked the teacher. She was really sweet. It was Lynn. She was a very nice lady. No, I was never kicked out of Bible study. Don't hate me in this, you know. Yeah, no, but getting back to it, yeah, that was a terrible, terrible event where they just decided to try and cover it up. Like, and that was the message I got from that meeting was never, ever talk about this publicly, you know. That was the message. Clearly, I listened.
Yes, you're.
Clearly, I'm a good little soldier, and I marched right on. And
why the camera knew to follow you at every meet that you competed in.
Now, another contender in day one was Alyssa Beckerman, a 9.7 for her on the bars, which is an event where she shines, but it was on the floor exercise, however, where she stumbled, scored only an 8.862, and her coach, Mary Lee Tracy, had some words about her mental concentration for that competition.
Those little mistakes on Saturday are going to break it. And you're still definitely in the running game. You got to realize that in a meet like this, those little things make a huge difference.
I was just not with it. Did you see my wrist support thing?
Alyssa, it's not a good enough excuse. It just wasn't with it. Just isn't a good enough excuse.
No, just improvement. I wasn't focused, but I was going.
This is a very important routine for this young lady. I watched her in warm-up. She botched a couple of her skills. This is her favorite event. It can be her best event. She's very good at these pirouetting and invert type skills. Oh, yeah. Nice. That's where she missed in the warm-up. Oh, she is really finessing this. This is nice. Mary Lee Tracy told her to focus better. She got through the difficult elements. All she has left is the laid-out double-back somersault. This is a clutch routine. Nice going.
She knows the dancer is right behind her. She needed to put together a solid routine.
Okay. John, you did a great job. Make sure that you find that focus again, all right?
Okay.
And to feel it, okay?
Yep.
If you feel like that again a little bit, squeeze your hands, find yourself.
Yeah.
Grounded. You got to feel yourself, okay? We're going to need a lot of power now. So now we got to think energy and power. Power and punches. Get that in your mind right now.
Alyssa Beckerman's coach, Mary Lee Tracy, celebrated a birthday here in Kansas City. We had a chance to talk to Alyssa about what she did for her coach on the occasion.
For Mary Lee's birthday, I gave her a crystal shooting star with, it has a candle that comes out of it, and just kind of symbolizes this year, because just all that we've been through this year, I feel like it's been like shooting up into something that I never dreamed I could achieve without her. So she's helped me make it possible, and that's why I gave it to her. Felt like she definitely deserves it.
Her presentation is lovely. At 5'3", she's just a little taller than most of the gymnasts, but the way she carries herself, she looks like she's a foot taller than anybody else here. It should be a triple full. first day, she went out of bounds and stumbled on that last pass as well.
Exhale.
First two passes were beautiful. The dance was beautiful. Very good. Just got one more. Listen, you know what? We gotta get focused pretty quickly, okay? I mean, not like this is a hyper event, okay? Now you gotta get calm. Let go of these 3 events, but we gotta stay in the program for this 4th event, okay?
Here we go. Beam routine of Alyssa Beckerman.
All day long, Mary Lee Tracy has talked about focus. This is her moment. Played it safe on that mount. She normally does a combination jump for more bonus points. Made a smart move there when she was a little off. Oh, no. Major deduction, half a point. So close between her and Jamie Dancher now. Dancher also to go on the beam in this final rotation. She scored a 9.775 at the championships. 9.5 in day 1 of these trials, so she has the ability and the finesse to get a huge score here. The other element, of course, is the pressure. Nice combination. Beautiful full turn with the leg horizontal right into an aerial. Should be a triple twist at the end. Okay, she made around about 2 3/4, which is kind of typical for her.
Best you could. All done. You have to just see what happens.
Okay.
Okay? All right?
You think I made it?
That might have cost you 15.
Oh, you heard that from her coach, Mary Lee Tracy. Here is a look at the fall, the round-off layout.
On the count. Now, everybody still has to go, so we have to see what they do. They have to go up and do the beam, too. Okay? Just sit down and be calm.
Okay.
So with that floor exercise, Elise Ray should have no problem keeping her lead. But during her routine, Mary Lee Tracy explained a different story to Alyssa Beckerman.
There's only three spots left. Elise Ray, there's Jeanette, there's Jamie. And if they hit their routines, that's probably going to bump you out. I mean, that's how close it is. I mean, if they hit their routines, that mistake will cost you. And that's just life, you know, it's just the way it is. Yeah, it was.
We're coming back. When we do, we'll give you the scores for Alyssa Beckerman and Elise Ray. Stay with us. Final rotation continues in a minute.
Competed in.
You know, I will say I watch nationals, and this is one of the first times I did not require any kind of libations to watch it, which was nice. I usually need some, because it's the gong, the chime, whatever. It's not a gong, it's a chime.
Da, da, da.
That,
Yeah.
God, it's awful.
I find it interesting. It's the same announcer that does the names of the gymnasts as when you competed. It's the same.
Yeah,
Next on floor exercise from Charter Oak Gliders, it's Vanessa Atwood. Right? Like he had the same voice. It's not changed. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Clearly,
yeah, watching it does bring back. I listened to, you sent me that link of Simone Biles doing the
press conference. Yeah.
Thank you. And she called it like a fever dream. Like she described the arena and all the, you know, the the competing and all that. And I was like, oh my God, that is so what it is. It was a great way of describing it, you know, and just, you know, just you wait, Simone, until you're retired, and then you're having the dreams and you're like, oh my God, you know, like, can I not compete anymore? Can I get out of the leotard and not compete? So those are fun.
Simone with the media. She really kind of put them in their place, told them what she wanted to say, what she didn't want to say, and she controlled that situation. I've never seen an athlete have such control over that situation.
I've seen a few in press conferences before, but no, she dominates. So, I mean, she's well seasoned, you know, I will say. I have so much respect for her. She's amazing. Oh my God.
How do you feel about where she is performance-wise right now?
Simone? Oh my God. She is the Zen master, like hands down. And here's how this is my observation anyway. When she did the 2016 Brazil, you know, was watching her compete. Then she was so young then still, and Marta was in control, and you know, she was still under the thumb of the whole perfectionist thing. She still is, don't get me wrong. The whole idea of gymnastics is perfectionism. It just, you live it and breathe it. And even though it could be like this gold medal routine, you know, you'll walk away going, I could have done this better. Yeah, I you know, there's always something. It trains you to be that way. With her, you know, she had this gold medal winning performance in Brazil and in Rio. And it's just like, she's just like shaking her head. I could see it. She's like, I could have done that better, you know? I think now the difference I'm seeing in her now, they asked her like, you know, all about her stuck landings on floor, this floor pass, this, you know, and she was like, no, I'm not there. Like, I'm here now. Like, she's very much in the present, which is so cool. Like I said, Zen master. She is no longer shaking her head. She's now just more, I think, comfortable in her skin. She's just like, she ends and she's like, all right, it's done. Let's now go on to the next. Let's see if I can do the next. Let's see, you know, she's not putting that pressure on herself. And it's so cool because that's like when you can just enjoy it. There's something to that. It really is, like I said, Zen is a better word for it. Presence. It's almost meditative. And it's something that I will say, fellow ADD here, but it's like a superpower. Yeah, ADD, we're all ADD. But it is like a superpower where you can compartmentalize a lot better and you can hyper focus. And she's mastered that. She's mastered how to just kind of, okay, done, you know, next.
I'm intrigued by the kind of therapy she's done and what it sounds like she's doing. I believe it's the same kind that I do. So I think it's very interesting and very inspiring to see her move through that situation. I think it's very important to show people. I think her comeback does show people that you can move through very traumatic experiences and not have them define your entire life, that it's something that happened and it's not in your entire life. And I think that's very big for that. So it's great. And she's more, I see her as more assertive in herself. I thought it was interesting. She stuck the vault on day one, or Yurchenko double pike, and she didn't do it on day two. You know, she stung her ankles a bit and she saved herself. And it looked like she had already decided in her mind that she was going to hit 8 for 8 before the meet ever started. And
yeah,
it just kind of happened. Like there was no doubt at any point that she was going to win that competition. I mean, extremely impressive. And
yeah.
And I was wondering, because obviously, as the team is formed, you know, there are many different ways to pick the team. There are 5 people. But if you have someone like Simone who has a lot of pressure on her, do you think it's better to go with all-arounders just to take some of the pressure off of Simone? Because everyone talks about the highest scoring team, this and that. But does going with specialists inadvertently put more pressure on Simone to have to do more that maybe isn't quite fair?
I honestly don't know. Pressure is a relative term, you know. What she can withstand and what she won't, it depends on the day, the time, you know, I honestly like, so I don't know. I think that's a question for Simone more than anything. Like I, you know, people handle pressure differently. So I don't know if I
think
can.
it's positive that, I mean, I think the last time that she competed for years, it was the goat, the goat, the goat, every single time, every single tweet, every single everything on her leotard, on the broadcast, and this. And I think that that builds on itself and creates an unbelievable amount of pressure.
I think it also for her, it manifests inward. You know, she's the one that put the goat on the leotard. I mean, right? I mean, she's the one that really, and I feel for, at least we used to have like these mottos when we were training and stuff, and try to be those mottos, try to be those, you know, and I think that was hers. You know, she was trying to be that and to live it and to breathe it and to believe it and to kind of, I think that was more her mantra is a better way of motto, but mantra, you know, just sort of, so I don't know. I don't know if that was a hindrance or a help. It could be both, depending on the day.
Some of those skills out, like the triple double and the double double off beam, they said you really don't need it with
no, she doesn't.
And
yeah.
Less stress. As you said, this like Zen mindset that she has, it's less stress. Who cares? She's going to win anyway. And she's great.
I mean, that's the thing. She didn't even remember. She's like, I don't even remember sticking that landing, you know, in the first, you know, she's like, I'm not there anymore. I'm here. And that's how you do gymnastics. That is the essence of gymnastics, is being forever present, being completely in the moment you're in and not dwelling. And it's the sport itself is so amazing. That's what drives me crazy about all the bad people in it, but because the sport is so cool, you know. What Simone is doing is so cool to see. It really is. This is a really special time in our sport to witness this. Like, it really is, because she's come into her own in a whole other way, which is she has her own voice. You know, she works with her coaches, but it's an adult with adults. She is the adult and she tells them, and she, you know, it's a lot different than when she was, you know, 16 and yes, Marta, you know.
Well, I want to ask you about Suni Lee. You are an EMT, you know, she's talking a lot about kidney, you know, kidney disease, potentially, you know, kidney problems. They haven't labeled exactly what it is. The way that they describe it, it sounds significant, right? That she is, you know, retaining a lot of water and swelling sometimes that she can't put on grips, but we have seen her compete 2 events at, you know, 3 competitions now. And she's been training bars. And I did send you the different clips of her 2 weeks apart. She has a couple of weeks until the World Selection Camp. Do you think she has enough time to make a bar routine?
See, the thing is with podium training is that, I mean, you're putting out there what you're putting out there, but you're not, it doesn't mean that she's putting out everything she's got. Now, she did some half routines. She did some, and she looks great. I mean, she is, it's dangerous to mistake her. She has such good feel on bars. She really feels the bounce on it. And she also has such amazing timing. And it kind of can look like, you know, like a delay, you know, because there's this longer, she's not muscling through bars. So it's easy to mistake that for like, she's lagging a bit or something. No, she's finessing it. She actually has really great feel. When I saw her bar training, I thought she looked good, like really good. really good. Her timing is there. It's just, I hope that whatever health issue she has, she can get past, you know. I hope that that doesn't hinder her. And even if it does, it's, you know, it's not going to define her. You know, she's already done it. She's already done all of it. It's not, this is just another moment in time. It's not going to be the end all be all for her career. So, you know, I don't know. I just think that a lot of hype is built on Worlds because it's right before the Olympics. And does it define who's going to make the team? No, we know that, you know, so maybe it's for the best that she makes a good showing at the camps and that be it. You know,
I do think that, you know, they have a couple weeks from the camp to Worlds. This comes to be one of those great selection questions, right? That I think that Chelsea will have to decide is Suni Lee on 2 events stronger and strong enough to take to a World Championships, and does that outweigh someone that could do potentially more events but doesn't have the same credentials or scoring potential? It's what makes this also interesting, right?
Yeah, I detest selection.
I know. I imagined that you did, but I imagine that when when you competed under scoring and there wasn't selection, did you feel that the scores were ever influenced by the powers that?
Sometimes it can be. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they have their favorites. People have their favorites on different events, and they'll reward that, you know. But again, it gets averaged in, so not, you know, it's not as biased as a selection committee where you have to actually suck up to people, and you know, it bothers me. Selection bothers me because it's selection. It's not based on, you know, it's not based on fact or results. It's based on, you know, I mean, I get it. There's strategy involved, but it just feels wrong. It feels wrong when you have a top 3, a very strong top 3 and 3-on-3 go, and then you take the 3rd place out to, you know, that to me is devastating to that person. You know, I just feel for that person.
Well, I want to tell you my impression of the championship if I were picking, you know, based on what I saw. And you can tell me why I'm wrong, okay?
Oh, no. I'm sure you've got good analysis. Go for it.
I thought, given that Simone is coming back with a lot of pressure,
yes,
given that, I thought that both Jordan, Chiles, and Jade, now you could say that maybe they took time off after college, but if you think about it, they haven't really had a period off, like a summer off, since 2020, right? Maybe before that, maybe ever. And they both looked physically or mentally tired to me at this championship, to where I thought maybe they actually need a rest if they're going to be making this team, if they want to be healthy. And it made me think that the top 4 all-arounders, Simone, Shilese, Leanne Wong, and Skye Blakely, kind of looked like a solid backbone of the team if they had to, you know, name it right now. And then that could give you a 5th spot of a Suni Lee or a Kaliya Lincoln who looked great and up and coming. And no one is going to be upset about that, is what I would think. You know, like that seemed like it would be their slice of the apple.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. But okay, I sort of agree with that.
Okay.
Let me back that up. So
this is why I thought you would be good, because you would have opinions up the wazoo. Let's hear it. Okay.
Okay.
You can help yourself.
I do understand that the college workload is very different from elite. It's vastly different. So when you're competing in club and you're competing, say 6 hours a day, 5 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's what I was doing. Something like 36 hours a week, about, give or take. Because we do 2-a-day sessions, and it ended up being that. So in college, it's 20 hours a week. That's it. End of story. And you actually get in trouble for fudging more hours. Like if you try and, you know, people get in trouble all the time for it. I sat on the executive committee for the PAC, then it was PAC-10, the Student Athlete Council. And that's one of the issues that was always brought up, was coaches trying to get past the hours, because there's a limit and you can't go past it. So when you have 20 hours a week, I mean, it's better on your bodies, but it's for less intense workouts, less intensity. So I don't know that they look tired per se. I think that they just haven't had a chance to ramp up like the old elite. The other thing too is they're also in a weird transition. Like I said, Simone's made it. Simone's gone from that 16-year-old who had to just, obey and just do what she was told. And she was a freaking machine, and bam out those routines. And, she could do the numbers, like crazy numbers, and take those landings. You go from that to being an adult where you can't take those pounding anymore. You can't take the kind of beating you can when you're younger. So you speak up. They're in that in-between phase where they can speak up now and they can say that, I'm talking now about the younger ones, but they're learning. It is a learning curve to break your mind away from, wait, I can negotiate how many routines I have to do right now. Like I can actually maybe cater to my body more. And so you have to learn that for yourself. It's a learning curve. But also push yourself where you need to be pushed too. So it's a weird thing with that, getting yourself competition ready. And I believe I was listening to the commentators say that Laurent had said like that, oh my God, I'm going blank.
Jordan, I think it was 5 weeks. Is that what, yeah? They said she was training for 5 weeks before this.
And she didn't have enough of the time in to really train, to seriously train for it, like that she was like just getting back into it, and it is a different intensity. It's definitely different. College is so different, college, you don't really it's not really even regimented. You go from event to event. There's no like rotation calling or anything. You just kind of like do your thing. And sometimes a coach will call out a correction, but for most time you're really kind of in there, on your own, doing your thing, and then you leave. in elite, you need a bit more intense, hands-on training. You need and you also need to prepare smartly, not to peak too soon. So
how about, I wanted to ask you about peaking for NCAAs, which Jade and Jordan had to do with, and then having this down period. And that's why I was wondering if they were tired emotionally, mentally, just thinking about how many times they competed. They competed elite last summer, they went to the World Championships and they went back to a season in college. So do you think college is almost a break? Because the way that college is described is it's 15 meets a season. This is exhausting. This is that 15 weeks of hard landings.
Yeah. It's no joke. I mean, it is. You do take a beating in college too. It's not exactly like a pleasure cruise, but like you said, the workouts are less intense, so it's a different dynamic. What you gain in college is more about your competition readiness than it is about your, the difficulty, being, and that kind of, and the pressure is different too. I feel the pressure is different. In college, you're going from hotel to hotel it's a lot of schlepping around and, doing your studying on airport floors and, and then you compete like, oh, I'm back here again. Yeah. For the girls, I think, I don't know. I just feel like they need to figure their own system out, but I think I think they looked good. I don't think they look tired is my point. I'm so sorry. That's where I get.
No, that's okay. You could have a different opinion. I just didn't, they didn't look sharp to me. They didn't look there. We're used to seeing them look very sharp, right? In college, in this, and they're competing against people that are only doing elite, right? So they are.
Yes, but they're also more situationally aware.
Yes.
Does sense? There is a different kind of sharpness to them. It's not, they may not necessarily be peaking right now. Fine, great. They don't need to. It's nationals. There are other things other fish to fry here. But what they did display was kind of cool. Like I was thinking about like if I were in the arena still, who I'd be gravitating to, and it would totally have been Jordan.
Like,
hands down. Oh my God. Anybody who was like dancing and talking and doing, yeah, that would have been, it was great to see that because that's what I wanted to do. And I was denied the chance to do it.
That is very different from when you competed, and the
So different
quote about you on TV was that you left your windows open and left your drapes open as well, which is what your coach said to you and the commentators repeated on NBC. Did Jordan leave her window open?
Accident, by the way, no accident that was said about me. But anyway, you're asking what was the question?
That kind of behavior, is that what they were trying to avoid, right? The laughing, having fun, that this was.
Yeah. She said that this made me look flighty and that it made me look undependable, unbankable as an athlete. And I mean, I don't agree with that at all. When I'm having fun, I'm doing my best gymnastics. That's where I was like, why take the fun away? You know, what's the point of that? Then it's just a job. You know, then it's just work. Like it's no longer fun. That's terrible. I love what Jordan brings to the table with that. I love that enthusiasm, and it's so needed and it's necessary. I think it's a huge step forward. That part of it is. But I don't think that USAG necessarily fostered that. I think that they're just lucky Jordan's there.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Shilese Jones, because you're known as the gymnast with I would say you have a very high degree of finesse, right? In your gymnastics and your skills and how you could do turns and balance. But yes, Alyssa, you could swing on bars. You had a great deal of finesse. Yeah. You know, I'm sorry, you weren't doing the Yurchenko double pike. You know, you were not the vault and floor specialist. I'm sorry to. Okay.
Yeah.
On the vault, Alyssa Ingram, 8.737. On the balance beam, Elizabeth Kaplan, 8.25. On floor exercise, Tasha Schweiker, 9.2.
Yeah.
So.
No way. Yes.
What do you think of Shilese Jones? Because I would say she really displays a very unique blend of finesse, power, lightness, the way she does skills and raises her upper abs above the beam when she's floating, that body control. Yeah. What do you like about Shilese Jones?
Oh my God, what don't I like about Shilese Jones? Honestly, she's oh my God, what don't I like about Shilese Jones? Honestly, she's beautiful. She is a breath of fresh air to watch. Just hands down, gorgeous gymnast. Just her technique, which what you meant, her chest is up. Yes, I mean it's
and her layouts too. You can like see.
Yeah. She has presence, she has command, and she's a beam queen. You know, she's absolutely, she just has it. She has the it.
Good on the other events too, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I say beam queen, it's just a reference to just everything, really. She's a queen. She is, and she absolutely earned that. You know, she's amazing. Absolutely. I love her bars. I love her floor. I love her presence. It's a presence. That's what it is. She just has it, you know? Absolutely.
She didn't even perform. We've seen her do full in off of beam before. She's, you know, all sorts of skills. I think she's ready for a breakout moment in the coming. Yeah, she's right there.
She just needs to keep doing what she's doing, and hopefully, you know, she's got the right people around her that, you know, can. It looks like it looks. I don't know. You know, TV is one thing.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Evgeny Marchenko is back. You know, he coaches Skye Blakely and Kaliya Lincoln, who both had good showings this weekend, and he did a really great job, obviously, with Carly Patterson. She won the Olympics, and then we didn't see him for many years in elite. But I thought it was so interesting that he first coached Holly Weiss, Nikki Childs, Lindsay Van Den Eyck, Carly, you know, these more bars and beam type artistic gymnasts, which was very much the style of the late 90s to be like little Russian looking gymnasts. And then And then as we move forward, he has gymnasts that have power and they're doing double twists. Those girls vaulted similarly to, you know, how you all vaulted at CGA. And now these girls are vaulting like stratospheric. It's the same coach. I think that shows that he has a great deal of talent. You know, what did you make of Skye and Kaliya?
Oh, they're wonderful. Absolutely. They were really good. Everybody. I'm so impressed with everybody, honestly. Skye, so cute. Just cute. I don't know. She was just such a ball of talent. Like, honestly, Kaliya too. I mean, they're both, you know, they have such potential. They're young. They're young and they have like a ways to go, but they're like, I mean, they have it. They really do. The depth of the USA national team is really amazing right now. They have such talent.
I think Skye, you know, she was on the world team last year. She just has a lot of steadiness that I saw. I mean, yes, she did have mistakes on floor, but I thought bars and beams, she just has that calmness that you would want and trust.
She has feel on bars. She has feel, you know, like same as Suni, you know, she waits for the bounce, you know, she's not muscling through bars. You can see it when gymnasts are struggling, they're muscling through bars. It's you know, it's just I don't know, you feel the difference when you're watching it.
I think
I'm so sorry, I have to mention this, but speaking of feeling the difference on bars, oh my God, I don't know who it was, but somebody needs to talk to the NBC camera crew filming bars. I want to throttle them up, down, up, every giant, oh my God, like put the camera in one spot and please put it like not at the angle where the coaches are all coming in to spot their gymnasts, please, like so we can't see them half the time. If they could angle the camera, like, you know, I'm sorry, just I had to say that.
I like it side and a little back. That's yes.
Because then we can appreciate the lines. They talk about the lines and like, guess what? I can't see any lines because you have it at an angle and off to the side. And it's like weird. And I can't even see if they hit a handstand or not, if they pass through. I mean, it's, you know, and that's when you can really appreciate the sport is by watching. Then sometimes they'll pan back and have a camera. I'm like, where's this camera been? And so go on. I tangent.
No, I agree with you completely. I think whenever they try to get artistic, it doesn't work. I just want to see.
It's on a roller coaster on bars going, I don't want to be back there. I want to be doing bars again.
I know that you're not a fan of selection, right?
No, I'm not. Go on. But
what if Bella Caroli had come to you in the year 2000 and said, Beckerman, I want you to stay away from the vault. No one wants to see vaulting. Would you have been a bigger fan of selection?
Yeah, that's amazing. No, well, because first of all, I mean, I had flashbacks of Bella like pep talking me on vault. But yeah, no.
If you said, Beckerman, I don't want you to vault. Vanessa Etler, I don't want you to be on the bars. You will hurt yourself. Let's all move forward. Beckerman to the right. You know, like this is.
Okay, to the right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that I would have been I still wouldn't have been a fan of selection. Again, it's just, it takes, again, you go from objectivity to subjectivity, and it changes the essence of what makes a sport a sport. And suddenly it's, it sucks that these girls train so hard, but their rankings don't matter and their scores don't matter. Just somebody's opinion is what matters at the end of the day.
The specialist should have to win an event or win a certain, if they're not going to do all events, do you think that if they want to qualify a specialist, there should be like a criteria, like it's spelled out? Yeah.
Maybe. And that actually is a great idea. Maybe there should be more structure to it, and that qualifies somebody, versus just, oh, we like this person. Because that to me is not sport. That is opinion. And that is, it's subjective. I just don't like it. I don't think it serves our sport well. I think in the end, it makes us look less like a sport, more like just pageantry. And it bothers me because this sport is so amazing. It doesn't need that.
Because I was wondering, like, you see Kaliya Lincoln, right? She
Yeah.
did this gorgeous full twisting double layout. She did this double twisting channel that looks like we could make it into an Aminar, like easy, right? She did beam. Yes, she had some wobbles, but she also had the amplitude and the power and the extension that you would see, like that combination from a Gabby Douglas type. And then she got a 9.9 on bars, which would have been a great score for you at UCLA, but not so in elite. And I thought, what do you do? Because in the rankings, she's not going to be as high, but she is exceptional on these other events.
Yeah. I mean, the scoring system is so bizarre. I will say it's hard to wrap my brain around it. I mean, I know they keep explaining it, and they explain it again and explain it again. I don't understand how, like, when some of these gymnasts get done with their routines, the execution score, I really kind of wish they would like show us, like, how did you find 2 points worth of deductions here? 2 points of just execution. Flex foot over here. Little bent knee right there. Like, how did you, like, that's what they're looking for the whole time. It's just,
I find 1, 3, and 5 to be extreme, right? In terms of the deductions. And I don't personally believe that it helps an audience to see an execution score in the 7s or the 8s. And I know that they want to quantify everything, but to me, that it has a connotation when the sport is based on a 10, that everyone knows it's a 10 to the beginning of time.
Yes.
See a score in the 7 or the 8s for execution, and for that not to subconsciously communicate to a viewer that may not be as used to seeing scores in the 7s or the 8s, that's a great routine. And a score with an execution score in the 8s could be very, very good right now, but it's indicating to them that this is maybe not great. And I know that people will argue that you have to recalibrate, but this is a sport based on a 10 and marketing and everything. The other issue I have with the judging system is really balance beam, because I love watching balance beam, right? We used to have flow. We had people that would do shoulder rolls and then go towards the end of their routine before their cheated triples, and we loved it. And now we see them kind of pause, then they go do a flip, maybe a flip into a jump, but it's very staccato and strange for me that this used to be a very beautiful event that was sort of like a work of art that's now less than.
Well, because right now they've changed the rules on beam to where you can't wait before a turn, you have to keep the flow. And so with that, there's a lot of just movement for the sake of keeping moving. And instead of kind of, you need in dance and flow, it's not just about movement, it's about the space between. So you need that kind of breathing room to, it's part of the rhythm, you know, are these breaks. So, you know, it does change the rhythm of beam. You're not wrong with that. Beam is all about rhythm. I mean, every event is about rhythm, but beam especially, I love. Like if there's a good beat going on the floor routine side, or if I'm on beam, like that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think you're onto something with that, maybe with it being a little. But I saw some gorgeous choreography too. I did.
I feel that there's like a lot of starting and stopping, or the rhythm is different than it used to be. Like it used to be one thing from beginning to end, right? And now there's more break.
It depends on what they value. So, for example, they still value the wolf turn,
which I don't like. And I'm a figure skater, it spins, but to me it's gross and it's not. Yeah,
awful. It's awful. Get rid of it. No, they should. No. It's popping a squat on a beam. I don't like it. It's what it looks like. I'm sorry. It looks like you're popping a squat on a beam and you're back.
I just want an L turn into an aerial. It's all I want, Beckerman. All right. It's what we need. Okay. I want to believe that girl on beam can't vault for shit. And that's why they're so goddamn gorgeous on balance beam. Okay. I want that like long, slow twitch muscle. Yes. Okay. We don't get enough of that anymore. Okay.
Well, because it's a different kind of sport now. And it doesn't reward that. It rewards strength. It rewards the fast twitch. It rewards the big tricks, the big ticket items, and turns are rewarded, but ugly turns are rewarded. Like I wish they would like devalue it just a little bit. Like it would be so cool to see something aside from that turn. And I noticed there's so many toe shoes. I didn't realize how many people wear toe shoes, except Simone. Simone did not wear a toe shoe on beam. I was really impressed by that.
Does Suni remind you of an old school gymnast by how she does beam? Like what would you say is the difference between her and the rest of the girls? Because to me, it's like a different sport when she's doing balance.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this old school thing that we used to have and love and cherish, and she brings me back to the days of yesteryear. It's why we need to bring her. Okay. I know you don't like selection, but I don't think she's going to be ready to do a floor routine. No one is asking her to vault. So I think that, we could just have 2 events. She could be beautiful. We can, we could remember, the days of.
I know. She is gorgeous.
She's just gorgeous, right?
Amazing to watch. Oh my God. Suni is unbelievable. What separates her, I mean, she has flow. It's the way of putting it. She really has amazing timing, and it's rhythm. I go down to rhythm all the time. I do, because it's there. When you have a lot of posing, I have to back it up a bit. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of posing happening. There's a lot of arm movements happening on the beam, and they're not exactly in a rhythm. Suni has rhythm. She has flow, and her arm movements flow one into the other. They make it a symphony. They don't make it these chopped up little pose, 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 pose. There is flow and rhythm to how she does it. There's something, she's very organic. And so I don't know, it's how she is. It's really beautiful to see. I love watching her. Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that floor routines now are pose, pose, pose? I mean, when you competed, there were routines with choreography, and I understand that we are doing like just insane tumbling passes for 4 of them, right?
Yes.
And when you, right, and that it's not possible perhaps to dance the way that you used to on floor, but again, that used to be a very beautiful event that I think has just changed so totally, and it's now a spectacular event, but not a beautiful event.
Right. No, I do see some artistry happening. It's not a beautiful event. You're right. Either they should make it like the men's floor routines and just get over with it already, or they need to value artistry more. You know, it's one or the other. I think something's got to give there. You know, it's also so I don't. It's so hard. The end of your floor routine, you are like completely your legs are like lead. You know, you got to do that last tumbling pass, and it is very difficult. I give these girls so much credit for what they do because honestly,
a double layout for her fourth pass.
Oh my god! Not only did she do double layout, I don't know if you noticed, but that last double layout, she didn't just do a double layout. It's like habit. I don't think she even knows she's doing it, but it was amazing. Her double layout, her hands are like on the double layout. Watch her hands; they're beautiful. On the double layout, it's gorgeous. Like, like it just. I don't know. There's something about the way she finesses things. It's wow. It puts her above the rest. Anyway, yeah, I think floor could definitely use a little bit of valuing, you know, but that's the code of points, and that's the athletes can't help that. The code of points makes the athletes, it like changes the morphology almost of like what you're going to see out there. There were a couple of quirky routines I saw. There was one in particular. I'm terrible with names. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I don't know her name. Was it Nola?
Nola Matthews, yeah.
Was it her floor routine? Oh,
I don't know what you're referencing, so I'm not sure, but yeah.
Her floor, you know what I'm talking about? Her floor routine.
I'm not sure which floor routine you're. That's why it could be many, but there was a gymnast named Nola Matthews there who.
Yes, who did like a Wednesday Addams-esque floor routine. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Okay. I think that this is the one. I will go double check this, but yeah.
I don't want to be wrong. I hate getting names wrong, but now I'm like worried I'm getting it wrong. So yes.
Yes. Okay.
I believe so. Yes. She does like this very, yes, that's right. So make sure. I thought that was so cool. I mean, I don't know if you saw that or not, or if you were.
I did. I was watching the world feed, but yeah,
okay.
And I wanted to ask you just, you competed in elite compulsories. You did, you know, compulsories, you know, coming up. Yeah. There's many elite gymnasts now who can't hit a full split. And that to me used to be like a basic requirement in gymnastics. And I was wondering what your take on that is, because some of them are very powerful and can perhaps make up for that with other, you know, outrageous tumbling, but should there be basic standards still? What's your...
There are basic standards, and they're getting devalued when they don't hit full split. They are, you know, they're not getting rewarded. But yeah, you know, they just need to learn and they'll do it better next time, you know? I mean, the younger ones coming up or they just need to learn how to do that better. They'll improve, you know? I don't want to critique that. I feel, you know, bad. Because like, honestly, these are all works in progress, you know?
Okay. All right. You know,
all right.
I didn't know if you liked a full split. Do you have pet peeves when you watch gymnastics?
I do. Oh my god.
Apparently full splits aren't one of them. So what are your pet peeves, Beckerman? Right.
No, they're not. My pet peeves is the wolf turn. My pet peeve is on floor exercise. My pet peeve is that weird sort of turn in the corner, hop to the next floor tumbling pass. That bothers me. It's very it's jerky. It like doesn't flow. There's something about it that just bothers me. I'm not sure why. I just don't like it. You know,
for some reason I wanted to recommend, because at some point the FIG decided, you know, they didn't want people to be waiting in the corners for a long time. So they tried to write this into the rules to prescribe, well, it must be off of 1 foot, or, you know, you must do a yoga position and then turn and then run into your routine, instead of just taking the deduction for excessive corner standing, right? Which then, and now
they all do the same turn. They could get creative with it. They could make it interesting. You know, I think that I feel like that's a choreography sort of opportunity that they're missing. That's all. You know, I just think they could maybe, there are so many different ways you can turn. there's so many different ways you can flow into the next thing, you know? I had a teammate back in the day who, when I was competing against her in club, like, she would point. She had this thing where she would just point and then she'd go tumble that way. It was like really, it was her thing. She liked to point to the corner and she'd go tumble.
Is that your North Stars days? That's very like New Jersey energy. I don't know.
No, it's actually not. No, it's actually no, that's from the international scene more. But anyway,
that is. Yeah, I just think that sometimes you talk about perfectionism, and one of the things that really bothers me in gymnastics is the obsessive naming of skills. And here's the thing, everyone does something new. I believe that they deserve to get credit. However, I also think that you need to make the sport understandable for people who are trying to learn the sport. And I do think that it makes it very challenging, because I will watch the sport with figure skating fans and, you know, get them up to speed and try to educate them. But when there are 16 versions of Tkachev and they each have a different name, that becomes very difficult to learn and explain to someone, and perhaps unnecessary. You talk about perfectionist culture. I would say maybe this goes a little into the OCD category. I'm just, you know, to me, it seems, you know, that this all kind of blends together. Yeah.
It's a credit thing, you know,
people credit, and they deserve it. And it's awesome.
They make their mark on the sport that way. And I think it's cool for that. But yeah, I think that the technical name for the skill is perfectly acceptable to say. It's not, I don't think it's non-PC to say that, you know, like a Tkachev, okay, you know, or reverse hecht.
Yes.
You could say reverse hecht. You don't have to say Tkachev, or, you know, I don't know. It's fine. It's not going to, sorry, I'm going. For me, names are terrible. I'm terrible with names of tricks. I really am. I honestly don't care about names.
You will see when fans are, you know, discussing routines, or you're reading it on Twitter, you know, it's very intense with names. And I don't think that makes it, I don't think it's easy for people to understand the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather them describe it technically correct than to sit there and try to like lingo up somebody where that sounds like more like one-upmanship than it does. I don't know. I mean,
I'm old school. I don't think it helps that you have to have a color-coded system to tell a viewer if it was a good routine or not afterwards. These are...
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have to have that. I agree. I completely agree.
The viewer should have a general idea of what they saw was good or not before they have a color come up. I think that at certain points, maybe things are going in the wrong direction. But yeah, many great things. So, you know, that's... Yeah, I don't know. It was incredible. As far as, should Simone have to get a 0.5 deduction when she's doing her Yurchenko double pike because her coach is spotting her? I don't know, but you know, good for him for spotting her at the same time. Yeah.
That is not an easy trick. I mean, there's only so many poundings you can take. You know, it's a really hard vault. I was just thinking about her landing and my ankles hurt for her. You know, just woof.
Well, why don't you talk a little bit about hard landings and that? How often did you take hard landings, and how often is it cumulatively, you know, ruin your ankles, or, you know, what are the effects of this?
Oh, you know, it depends. You know, I've had teammates who've had like exploratory surgery on their ankles, and then, you know, it really does depend on the gymnast. For me, it was, I did a lot of ankle rolling. So, like I actually one time punched into another trick off of a rolled ankle. And, yeah, I mean, it's, your ankles kind of don't, once you stretch them out a certain way, they don't quite stay tight anymore. So my toe point is still like crazy. It just won't ever tighten. It's weird.
But did you do a lot of hard landings in elite, like in the gym every day?
Yes. Yes. Bella was very insistent on us doing these crazy numbers in the gym. Like Suddenly 5 routines wasn't good. 3 to 5 routines wasn't good enough. It had to be 7. He loved the number 7. Everything had to be 7. Except for vault, of course, which had, well, actually, no, including vault, which had to be 7 of each, you know, because you had your 2 vaults you did. So 7 of each vault. I mean,
Is that per day or per practice? When he would do it? Would you do
whatever
bar?
you know,
Okay.
you have to have 7 perfect routines, you know, you'd have to have, and it was nuts, you know. I would never recommend the girls do that anymore. You know, I think that 5 is plenty, 3 to 5 is even better. You know, it doesn't have to be that. The numbers don't have to be that crazy. And the pounding on floor sucks. Like you know, your body is tight and you're punching into, it's a takeoff as well as landing. That's the other thing that, you know, you don't realize, I guess, is that the takeoff is also, it can be worse than the landing, especially on floor.
I mean, I think most gymnasts tear their Achilles in the takeoff, usually when you see that.
Yeah, because the angle that you take off. So for a triple full, for example, your back handspring has to land at a certain angle. Your body position has to land in a certain angle. So for a triple full, you got to be like here to take off, not here. For like a double layout, you got to be up, you know, like up here. So it depends. You know, your chest has to be up to get up in the air and to flip. But for a triple, you got a slow rotation and twist. So you got to land like this. So you actually, the angle can affect your Achilles big time. You know? It's a lot of force being put on your body. Yeah, a lot of fun on other systems.
You have a favorite moment of the entire weekend in terms of gymnastics? Anything that thrilled you, made you excited again?
All of it. I mean, it was great. It was great to see. You know, I love the girls' enthusiasm. You know, I want to protect that. And that doesn't, I mean, I'm glad they're there to influence the younger ones, but they all go back to their own gyms. They all get told what they're told. I don't know what, you know, the thing is, what you see on television, what you see in the arena doesn't necessarily reflect what's happening, you know? So I just hope that, I don't know, I hope that progress can be made. I hope that they invite Scott Reid to the next event, because to deny him his credentials is it's poor judgment, very poor judgment.
I would agree. I think it puts a target on them in terms of what are they hiding for other journalists to look at and for Scott Reid to look at, right? Why does this happen? Right. To me, it doesn't encourage to say, oh, Scott Reid denied his credential, I better not say that. To me, it's, why are they denying Scott Reid his credential? What are they upset about?
Right.
To me, that's what I'm wondering. What is USAG hiding? That's what I immediately think of.
Yeah, but that's you. And, you know, if you think of yourself as a gymnast in that scenario, then what message are they receiving? We don't approve of these kinds of journalists. Don't talk to this reporter. Even though he can be somebody that could be a voice for them and somebody that could actually, you know, benefit the sport. So that's what's really, really sad, is that they've actually done a disservice to their own athletes by denying him access. Really. And it's nefarious. I honestly believe that this is just very, very bad. I read his article. He did go. He like bought a ticket and went and watched in the seats, and he said he saw them like high-fiving, you know, high-fiving the coaches that are under investigation. And you know, it's an old school system. It's all the same people, you know. I didn't see a lot of the old faces on the arena floor this time, which was nice, but the rest were still there, you know. And they all look out for each other. These girls come and go. The quads, they come and go. They're, you know, But the difference is they keep creating generation after generation of elite girls that are retired now, that are now looking back as adults saying, hey, and our population keeps growing. So something's got to give, because we're all here and we're watching and we know better. You can't fool us with oh, look, they're positive now. He smiled, like that doesn't work anymore. So
I want to ask you one thing, because you have a teammate that's also spoken up, that's a good friend of yours, Dominic Moceanu, who has a son who has like perfect basics and insane conditioning. You don't seem to know if he's competing or not, yet he's like maybe went from like, is he beyond gymnastics and just proving that he can condition best of the world? I mean, it does seem like Dominic and Mike tried to breed a perfect gymnast, that they were like, we do know better how to do this, so we're just going to create this. And they did. But like, is he competing? Like, what is the status of this?
I can't answer that. I can't. I just know he is an amazing kid.
Did you see the wall, Sid, where he like put his leg over his head and like turned and moved and like, what is going on there? Okay.
I didn't see that, no, but I don't doubt it. But I don't doubt it. He's quite the athlete. He's amazing.
They had him doing stuff on vacation, like throwing things. What is going on? Okay, I would like an explanation about what is going on. Are we going to see him compete?
Why am I supposed to answer that? No. He's. You know what? I think that it would be amazing if he competed. I would look forward to that. Are you kidding me? He'd be incredible.
Of course, right.
I don't want to put words in their mouth. That's their kid, and he's awesome. I will tell you, I mean, he is a really cool kid. He's just a cool person. He's got a great personality. He's a really neat, nice kid. So
look forward to chatting with you more. We have this election coming up, and you've been through world trials before, so
yes.
How much downtime do they actually get after a big weekend like this before training? Do you get 1 day off, 2 days off? Does the travel day count as a day off? Okay.
Oh God, after nationals no, it's just back at it. Yeah, you get like a day off, travel day, and then you're back in the gym. Yeah, at least we were. I don't know. Maybe things have changed in that regard, but who knows? Doesn't seem to have.
It's a lot, these meets aren't very spaced out, so it's a lot very close together, and that's why I was wondering, how much those gymnasts can actually improve between nationals and the selection camp, because it's not a lot of time.
No, it's how many? It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, yeah. So
yeah, no, that's not a whole lot, but it's enough to polish up on something. I mean, it's really it's not enough to like really get too much stamina going, but it's not nothing either. I mean, who knows?
We're also dealing with some incredible talents, right? Who are
yeah, they're all incredible. Like, that's the thing. I mean, you're asking me, like, they're all amazing. I can't. They're all really amazing. Really.
Watch, and thank you so much for offering all of your insight. This was so much fun.
Hope that helped. I don't know.